Let's talk about in this video which of following environment audit deal with the company environment performance and environmental responsibility practice, whether the company has complied with the legal requirement and other requirements such as ISO 14001, that is environment compliance audit. ये क्या होती है environment compliance audit? This audit specifically address whether a company adheres to environmental laws, regulations, and the recognized standards such as ISO 14001. It review evidence of the compliance and evaluate correct practice and check the documentations against the legal and voluntary obligations. While the environmental auditing being made an auditor in a school campus, which of the following information need not to be considered? Restorations with the indigenous variety, shelter and food provision for wildlife, best water recycle, student strength enhance strategy. Which of following informations need not to be considered? Student strength enhance strategy. Environmental auditing in school campus. When conducting an environment audit in a school setting, the main focus of assess practice policy activities that impact the campus ecosystem, resource efficiency and sustainability. The following aspects are commonly considered. The reforestation with indigenous variety promotes biodiversity and ecological balance. Shelter and food provision for the wildlife supports the campus biodiversity habitat conservations. The best water recycling assess the resource management and pollution preventions. Consider the following steps in performing environmental risk assessment. A. Hazard identification, hazard accounting, and scenario exposure, risk characteristics, risk managements. Risk assessment is a systematic process of evaluating potential risk associated with the particular activity, situations, or substance. It involves identifying hazard analysis, their potential consequence, and assessing the likelihood of those consequences occurring. Risk assessment aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of the risk involved so that appropriate measure can be taken to manage or mitigate those risks actively. The process of risk assessment typically involves the following types. First, hazard identification. The step involves identifying and recognizing the potential hazard or sources of the harm that could lead to adverse consequences. Hazards can include physical, chemical, biological, or environmental factor. Exposure assessments. In these steps, the potential pathway and route of exposure to the hazards are evaluated. It involves assessing how individuals or populations may come into the contact with the hazards and estimate exposing level of frequency and duration. The risk characterization. Risk characterization combined with the information gathered from the hazard identification and exposure assessment to evaluate the potential risk. It involves assessing the likelihood of adverse effect occurring and severity or magnitude of those effects. Risk communication. Effective communications of the risk assessment finding a crucial to ensure that relevant stakeholders, decision market, and the publics are the information about the risk involving. This step involves presenting the assessment result clearly and understandable. नेक्स्ट बात करते हैं रिस्क मैनेजमेंट. बेस्ड ऑन द रिस्क असेसमेंट फाइंडिंग appropriate risk management strategies can involve and implemented risk management aim to reduce, eliminate, or control the identifying risk through regulating guidelines and safety protocols, mitigation, and the plans. Risk assessment is utilized to various fields including environmental health, consequences, safety, public health, and product safety. It helps inform the decision making process, prioritize actions, promote protections of the human health, the environment, and other valuable resources. Which of following is not true with the reference of environment liability for the historical contaminant site? The regulatory agency always takes responsibility for the site recommendation. People living in the affected area bear the primary liability. Current owner may take liability or cost. The original polluter may take responsibility. Not. People living in the affected area bear the primary liability. Which of following is not true with the reference to environmental liability for the historical contaminated site? The regulatory agency always takes responsibility for site remediation. People living in the affected area bear primary liability. Current owner may be take liability cost. Environmental liability for the historical contaminant site should not be bear by the people living in the affected area. There should be regular agency that always take responsibility for the site remediation. Beside two original polluters may like responsibility and current owner may also take liability cost. The abbreviations Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change is used to indicate a ministry dealing with environmental impact assessment study in India. What does abbreviation stand for? The Ministry of Environment and Forest, founded 1985, headquarter नई दिल्ली में, renamed it मई 2014 में. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change published the Draft Environment Impact Assessment EIA Notification 2020, reflecting exist EIA Notification 2006 under the Environmental Protection Act 1986. The Ministry of Environment and Forest is founded 1985. The nodal agency administrative structure of the central government for planning, promotion, coordination and overseeing the implementation India's environment forest policy programs, information on the project clearance, rules, regulations related to the pollution, environment protection, wildlife etc. It provides users to can get grow about action and report related to the climate change, biodiversity conservation. Environmental impact assessment is a process that assesses studying, analyzing and predicting effect of the proposed industrial infrastructure project on environment. The main object of the EIA is identify the evaluate the social economic impact project. Ministry of Environment Forest May 2014 was renamed and current title Ministry of Environment Forest Climate Change. Since 1970, a number of environment legislation have been put in place. The Ministry of Environment and Forest Pollution Control Board CPCB and SPCB together form of regulatory and administrative core of the sector. President Nixon signed NPA National Environment Policy Act into law is 1 January 1970. Identify the incorrect statement with respect to public participation in environment impact assessment. Public participation in EIA reduce the communication gap between the expert and the local. Public participation will be able to provide advice to management considering local condition, and opposition managed will be the reduced. People are informed. यह होगा. Public participation in EIA should be avoided as much possible to reduce nuisance and creations. ये incorrect है. Environment impact assessment is a tool to assess significant effect of a project or development proposal on the environment. EIA makes sure decision making thinking about likely affect the environment of earliest possible time, aim to avoid, reduce or offset those effects. These ensure the proposal are understood properly before decisions are made. Which of following audit is types of management audit that comes under environment audit category? यह आएगा पॉलिसी ऑडिट. पॉलिसी ऑडिट क्या होती है? Which of following audit is types of management audit that comes under the environment audit category? Audit policy audit. Within the context of the environment audit, a policy audit specifically assess the effectiveness of the environment achieve the environmental goal. It evaluate whether the policies are clean, comprehensive and aligned relevant to the regulation and best practice. For the purpose of Coastal Regulation Zone 2011 notification is state that the coastal zone is 500 meter on landward side of the tidal zones. Coastal Regulation Zone 2011 notification state that coastal zone, the land area from high tide line STL to 500 meter on the landward side along the seafront. The land area between STL and the low tidal area, which we termed as intertidal zone. The water and bed area between the LTL 2V territorial water limit 12 nautical miles in case of sea and water. The the bed area between LTL at the bank to the LTL opposite LTN on the opposite side of the bank. The tidal influence the water bodies. Which of following EIA methodologies for environment impact identification capable of identifying direct indirect impact along with identifications of the higher order effect and interaction between impacts. This is network method. Network method is a EIA methodology for environment impact identification is capable of identifying direct indirect impact along with the identification higher border effect and interaction between the impacts. Article 253 empowers Parliament to enact law implementing the international environment treaties. How does this provision interact with the Indian federal structures? Only one. It overrides state legislature on the treaty related environment matters. It required unanimous approval from the all state treaty implementation. ये नहीं होगा. It is allowed to state opponent out of the international environment completions. Article 253 grant Parliament the power to legislate on any subject including those in state list for purpose of implementing international agreement. This means when the India is bounded by the international treaty, Parliament can enact law to fulfill the obligation even if the subject matter fall under the purview state of the government. The power is not subjected to requirement of the state consent or unanimous approval. The article explicit the state of the parliament can legislate from the purpose of notwithstanding anything in the foregoing provisions of the chapter of legislation power. The interaction between Article 253 and the federal structure is that it creates mechanism for the central government to ensure India compliance with the international obligation. If it means overriding the legislative competence of the state government. Which of following statement is true regarding the Rotterdam Convention? Rotterdam Convention is a primary object is to ensure that hazardous chemicals are not exported to countries without their explicit consent through prior informed consent (PIC) procedure. Unlike the Basel Convention, the Rotterdam Convention explicitly regulates the transboundaries movement of hazardous waste to prevent dumping in the developing countries. A unique feature of the Rotterdam Convention is focus of eliminating the persisting organic pollutant through the global phase reduce, similar to the Stockholm Conventions. Rotterdam Convention, officially called the Rotterdam Convention on prior informed consent procedure for the certain hazardous chemical and pesticides in the international trades. It is multilateral treaty that addresses global trade in hazardous chemical and pesticides. Its main goal is to promote shared responsibility and cooperation among countries when importing and exporting these dangerous substances in order to protect human health and environment from the potential harm. The conventional main goal is to ensure that listed hazardous chemicals are only exported with the explicit prior informed consent (PIC) of the receiving countries. This aim to protect human health and the environment by enabling the countries to make informed decisions about import and to prevent unwanted shipment. This describe is Basel Conventional, which focused specifically on hazardous waste movement and disposals. The Rotten Conventional The Rotten Conventional covers certain hazardous chemical and pesticides in international trade, not based. This feature of Stockholm Conventional, which is especially addressed the eliminate restrictions of the persistence organic pollutant (POPs), while Rotterdam can include some chemical that are also on the POPs. Its main focus informed consent to trade hazardous chemical rather than the global phase outs. Which of following states are true regarding to the conventional on the wetlands? The conventional wetlands was adopted in the Iranian city of Ramsar is 1971 and come into the force 1975. India has a 89 Ramsar site. The conventional use broad identification of the wetland including lake rivers. नहीं ये नहीं आएगा, lake rivers नहीं होता है. Wetlands areas where water cover the soil or present either the near the surface of the soil all years of varying periods of the time during the years including during the growing season. Wetlands include a wide variety of ecosystems such as marshes, swamps, bogs, fens and floodplains, mangroves, peatlands, lakes, wood, rivers, streams, coastal area including the some marine zones. According to the Ramsar Convention on wetland defined broadly as area of marsh, fen, peatlands, and water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with water that is static or flowing, fresh, brackish or salt, including the area of marine water, depth of which at low tide does not exceed 6 meters. The conventional wetland commonly refers to as the Ramsar Convention was adopted in Ramsar, Iran, 1971 and entered into the force 1975. The Ramsar Convention does use a very broad definitions of wetland, which cover area of much fen, peatland or water, including lake, river, even some marine areas. Importantly, it does not include under aquifers wetland along with swamp, marsh, peatland, natural, artificial, permanent, temporary with the static flowing. As September 25, India actually has 93 Ramsar site, not 89. This is most recent official number of reflecting 8 list additional Ramsar list. Which of following statements are true regarding to the National Environment Policy 2006? It is draw authority from the Article 48 Directive Principle State of the Policy and Article 51 G Fundamental Duties. It empathizes with the right to life under Article 21 Legal Bias Environmental Protection. The policy was compiled with the Stockholm Convention or the persistence of the organic pollutants. तो क्या बोल रहा है विच ऑफ फॉलोइंग इज स्टेटमेंट्स आर रिगार्डिंग टू द नेशनल एनवायरनमेंट पॉलिसी 2006 इट इज एम्फसाइज द राइट टू लाइफ अंडर आर्टिकल 21 एज लीगल बायस ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट प्रोटेक्शंस. चलो इसको देख लेते हैं ये क्या है नेशनल एनवायरनमेंट पॉलिसी के बारे में NEP के बारे में 2006 is an important document adopted by the government of India to guide environmental management. It built upon the previous related policies. It consolidated built upon the previous environment related policies such as National Forestry Policy 1988, National Conservation Strategy 1992, and the policies and pollution, agriculture, water, and the policy follow the mandate under Article 48A and Article 51AG the Indian Constitution reflecting India's commitment to clean environment. NEP 2006 aim क्या है? Protect and conserve critical ecological system resources, ensure equitable access to environment resource for the all strategies of the society. It integrate environmental concern into the social and economical development policies, employ the efficient resource use and promote sustainable practice, protect the health well-being present and future generation, source rational and transparent management of the environment resources. While the NEP 2006, the environment India's international environment commitment, it was not specifically formulated to comply with the Stockholm Convention on persistent organic pollutant. The Polify creations was independent of any single international convention and rather cover broad range environmental concern of the country. Which of following explicit is the object of the National Environment Policy 2006? In intra-generation equality, ensuring livelihood security for the poor. In intergenerational equality, balancing need of present future generation, reducing carbon emission 50% in 2013. ये नहीं होगा, only one. इंट्रा जनरेशन इक्वालिटी एंड इंट्रा जनरेशन इक्वालिटी के बारे में, इंश्योरिंग लाइवलीहुड सिक्योरिटी. Object of the National Environment Policy 2006 expert emphasize intra-generation equality, aiming to ensure equitable access to environment resource and livelihood security, particularly for the poor and vulnerable section societies. NEP 2006 include intergeneral equality to core principles, seeking balance and environment need. Environment need present and future generation. The policy does not set any specific quantity carbon emission reduce targets such as reducing by the 50% by 2030. Approach is broader, focusing on the sustainable development and environment protection on the specific emission and the reduce. The National Environment Policy 2006. The National Environment Policy 2006 incorporates which is the following: common but different responsibilities, polluter pay principle, precautionary principles. The Environment Policy 2006 incorporate which of the following? The National Environment Policy 2006 expert incorporate the following keys: common differential responsibilities. The National Environment Policy 2006 incorporate which of following? NEP 2006 drawn the idea that all states have shared responsibility to address environmental issues while recognizing the varied capability and contributions of the different countries and communities to environment degradation. This aligns with the doctrine of equality and both national and international levels of India approach to environment governance. Polluter pay principle. This policy clearly induces polluter pay principles, which means that party responsible for causing pollution is liable, covering the cost of managing and rectifying the pollution. This principle guide the cost allocations to the international and environmental cost to promote accumulated preventions. The precautions principles NEP 2006 also affirmed the precautionary principle, stating that where there are credible threats of serious or irreversible environment damage. The lack of complete scientific certainty should not be used as a reason or to delay cost-effective preventive measure. This principle states proactive risk management in environmental decision makings. Which of following statements are correct regarding to liable regime under the National Environment Policy 2006? Which of following statements are correct regarding to liability regime under the national? A fault-based liability regime, a party is held liable it branches to pre-existing legal duty, for example environment standard. Strict liability imposed on obligations to compensate the victim for harm resulting from action or failure take action which may be necessarily constitute the breach any law duty of the cares. तो इसमें आंसर आएगा सी, both first and second. Both statements are regarding liability regimes under the National Environment Policy NEP 2006 correct. In a fault liability regime, a partially held liable if the branches is pre-existing legal duty such as environmental standards. Strictly liability imposed on obligation and compensate the victim's harm resulting from the action or failure to act even if there is no breach of the law or duty cares. The means of NEP 2006 recognize the both fault-based and strict liability approaches for environment harm, where the fault-based depends on providing breach of duty and strict liability required compensating regarding of the fault. Who authorized the granting the consent to establish and consent to operate under the Water Act? Who authorized the granting the consent to establish and consent to operate? State Pollution Control Board. Under the Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act 1974, the State Pollution Control Board (SPC) authority empowered the grant consent stability (NOC) for settling up the industry and the consent to operate, authorized to commence operation for activity have been potential to discharge pollutant into the water body. The Central Pollution Control Board provides guidelines but does not issue directly. Which of following statements are true? National Clean Action Requirement NAP. The NAP launched 2019 the target reducing PM 2.5 PM10 by 20 to 30% in 131 cities of 2024 using 2017 as a base year. This target was later revised 40% reductions of achieving national ambient air quality standard, the PM concentration by 25 to 26. Both are right. The National Clean Air Program NCAP was launched January 2019 aiming to reduce PM10 and implicity of 2.5 by 20 to 30% by 2024 to 25. Most resource reference 2025 using 2017 as a base year across the 135 cities. The target was revised to up to 40% reduction in PM10 concentration, meeting the NAQS by the 2025-26 revised aim either achieved a 40% PM2.5 reduction with respect to the 2007-18 or meet the annual NAQ PM10.5 by PM10 by 60 microgram per meter cube by 25 to 26.